On April 15th, 2013, Rebekah Gregory and her 5-year-old son were waiting to cheer on a friend at the Boston Marathon finish line when the bombs went off just 3 feet away. Gregory's legs took the brunt of the blast, protecting her son from certain death. After 18 surgeries and 65 procedures, Rebekah's left leg was amputated, and she's now telling her story of survival in her new book, Taking My Life Back, my story of faith, determination, and surviving the Boston Marathon bombing. Rebekah Gregory joins us now. Welcome, Rebekah.
Thank you.
So great to have you
Oh,
here.
it's great to be here.
It's so, I mean, you've been through so much. Is it still painful retelling the events of that day?
I think it's always going to be painful. You know, just like anyone else who lives through a traumatic event or something, life blows up in their face, it's hard, and there's many painful memories associated with that. And for us, a lot of PTSD also.
Which you are still suffering from currently?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nightmares several times a week, and just, it creeps up on you in different ways.
I can't even imagine. Now, you were visiting Boston that weekend, visiting a friend. You're from Texas.
Yes.
Can you relay to us as much as you can what happened that day?
Sure. I was there visiting. It was my birthday weekend, my first time ever in Boston, and my 5-year-old son was with me that day too. And I remember we started out at the 17-mile marker. We were excited, tracking our runner on our phone, and we held up our signs, and then someone in our group decided we needed to make our way closer to the finish line to actually just be right there when she crossed. And we did that, and Noah got really bored and started tugging on my clothes, and there's only so many runners.
Yes.
Yeah, he can watch stream by. So I told him to sit down on my feet until we were done, and that's actually where Noah was when the bomb went off in the backpack just right behind us. So I found out later that my body was a shield for him, and I took everything in the back of the legs, and that's ultimately what saved my little boy's life.
Oh my God, as a mother, and those devastating moments that you talk about in your book of not knowing exactly where he was when you came to consciousness, you didn't see him at first.
Yes, and I wasn't knocked out by the blast, and people think sometimes that we were. And I remember everything. I remember being pinned to the ground with my bones laying next to me on the sidewalk, blood and nails and ball bearings and people's body parts laying around me. And my biggest fear was that Noah was on my feet and now I can't see him. And I was able to locate him behind me just by moving my head, and I at least knew that he was going to be okay.
And he was conscious when you...
He was, yes.
Thank goodness.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But then that was, in some ways, just the beginning of your ordeal. You went through so much after that. Tell us about the surgeries and the procedures.
You know, it was 18 months of just constant in the hospital surgeries. I spent 56 days initially, and then I got out and they wanted to do a process of limb salvage. You know, my right leg they saved, my left hand they were able to save also, but my left leg was just so damaged. And so the doctors wanted to try though, and we did surgery after surgery, and it in the end ended up being too much. And I said, I've got to get rid of what's holding me back. And so in November of 2014, we amputated below the knee.
And you wrote a goodbye letter to
A breakup letter.
A breakup
It was
letter.
like a bad boyfriend. I needed to get it out of my life, and so I did.
And was that cathartic? Did that help?
It was. It was very cathartic, and you know, I wanted it to be seen as a new chapter and not something that I was losing.
Yeah. And what is life like now with the prosthesis? I mean, you rock it. You look fantastic in it. You've got the anklets. What is daily life like? And you have a name, right? For
Felicia.
Felicia.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's hard, and there's never going to be a day that I wake up and I'm like, yes, I can't believe I'm an amputee. It's so awesome, but it's doable. And for 26 years, I expected to put 2 feet on the ground, and when I couldn't do that anymore, now that I reach for a prosthetic leg or a wheelchair, because I'm generally in my wheelchair when I'm at home, I'm very thankful that I have a daily reminder of how short life really is.
And how has that changed everything else in your life? Has it changed the relationships with the people you love in any way? You now have another child.
I do.
Which is amazing, because
Yes.
didn't doctors tell you they weren't sure you could have any more children?
Yes, they did. And it absolutely changes my entire way of thinking. And I live for each moment now, instead of being, you know, one of those people that get wrapped up in the daily routine, which I was before this. And I hug my son tighter, and I love my husband more, and we just want to do everything we can to make our difference and impact and help others.
And what is the source of your incredible strength? You are such an inspiration. Where does that come from?
There's so many places that it comes from. You know, I credit it to my faith, and I credit to my family. I have the most wonderful support system, and I have an amazing husband who supports me in everything that I do. And he's the one who, you know, is looking for my leg on a regular basis and waking up with me when I have nightmares and telling me it's going to be okay, and just that comfort. And he sees me at my worst and still loves me like it's my best.
Oh, it's so wonderful to hear that. Now, you know, as a terrorism survivor yourself, what are your thoughts on what needs to be done? I mean, the current administration's plan is evolving. What would you like to see happen?
It's crazy, really, but the only way I can describe that is just, I want to feel safe again. I want to feel safe walking out of my house, and I don't know what it's going to take for that to happen. It's so sad because I feel like as a country we're so divided, but I don't feel like it's a Democrat or a Republican thing. I think that it's a safety thing. I want people to be able to go places and enjoy and not think in the back of their minds that someone could lay a bomb down at any minute. And being, you know, on the other side of that, I didn't think it ever would happen to me, and then it did. And so now it's just, I wonder if I'll ever get that feeling of safety back.
It is, I mean, considering the fact you have a loving family and you have everything that anyone could want. It's very, now how, do you follow closely the development of science of prosthesis? Do you ever think you'll get a different kind of leg, or is this something that you're just happy with the way it is now?
I've been very blessed with great doctors from the beginning, and I have wonderful people that, you know, anytime I need something, they try to fix it for me. And it's very hard to walk with a prosthetic leg, and there's adjustments that have to be made and new legs to be made. But right now, I really enjoy just wearing one that looks like a robot. My son calls me a robot mom, and it has a feeling of honesty to it where, you know, this doesn't define who I am.
Of course not.
And so I am going to move forward in my life just appreciative for every new day, and I'm going to continue to wear dresses and shorts and just rock a fake leg.
Well, you look amazing.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you, is your son doing okay, though? I mean,
He's
he went
wonderful.
through all of it. Yes?
Yes.
I'm so glad to
Yes.
hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. Rebekah Gregory, thank you so much for coming to talk to us, and congratulations on your book and for doing so well. Thank you so much.
It's an honor. Thank you.